This week, I wanted to discuss the recent Ontario and Quebec budgets. Canada's first and second largest provinces have now released their 2021 budgets, and both contained large deficits as well as increased healthcare funding as expected. Today, I wanted to solicit some of your thoughts on both these budgets.
The Ontario budget on Wednesday was an absolutely massive disappointment. There was nothing, absolutely nothing in this budget that represented anything new, anything creative, or anything original. The government's saying that they're going to, there will be no cuts to spending, but there's absolutely zero plan on how they're going to sustain healthcare spending, for instance. Very, very, very difficult, different scenario from that of Quebec, which has I think their fiscal plan in good order. In Ontario, we saw nothing new. And nothing original in how the province is going to tackle its fiscal challenges.
For Quebec, nothing in that budget yesterday was unexpected. The finance minister pretty much telegraphed what direction they were going in. This was going to be a COVID economic recovery budget and also a responsible budget. That being said, a lot of groups were disappointed with not getting a lot of money. It was a stay the course, responsible budget with a respectable number when it comes to deficits, given the situation. One thing I will note about the Ontario budget is the continued spending on Francophone affairs based on more money for Francophone nonprofits who give services to Francophones is something the community has been asking for, and Minister of Francophone Affairs Caroline Mulroney has been delivering for a couple of years now.
It's okay. I'm going to counter Ken. Well, Ken's incorrect. There was a couple new things. There wasn't much, very little actually, but it was a health budget yet again, like the fall. Everyone was expecting an economic budget. Unfortunately, with the cases rising, the variants increasing rapidly, they had to divert and go back to a health. Ken's generation is entering hospitals. They're going to be needing long-term care homes and retirement. There's a lot of money put towards building. There's a lot of money put towards helping and installing different upgrading retirement homes that was necessary, like the air conditioning that was put out last summer that everyone noticed that was lacking. I mean, spending, a lot more spending, there's a lot of COVID spending. What we wanted to see in terms of economic and infrastructure, there's not much. The only other big part outside of that spending that was also highlighted by the pandemic that everyone was expecting and understood it was going to be in the budget was increased spending for broadband for rural and underserved communities. So not much in terms of new, but the expected was there. And again, they had to divert from an economic budget to a health spending COVID budget yet again.
The Ontario government says it's going to build a fiscally responsible and fiscally sustainable economy on two foundations. Number one, they said, we're not going to raise taxes. And secondly, they said, we're not going to cut spending. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of people hitting the healthcare sector. I acknowledge what Maddie says. The government has made some good COVID investments in long-term care, as well as in the hospital sector, but nowhere near enough to sustain what the healthcare sector is needing. I mean, Doug Ford is saying we need more help from the federal government. How much money can the federal government give them? It's limited.
Well, I can tell you that I feel rather validated. I think we were on here a week or two ago discussing what we thought the budget would contain, and the two things that I had supposed were both money for broadband and small rural communities, which Maddie had alluded to, and also money for big transformative transit projects. And I take everyone's point here in regards to, when is too much spending? No. So this to me is the province testing their mettle by setting forth on a transit path and now putting themselves, with a budget that preceded the federal budget to say, okay, put your money where your mouth is. If you can print infinite number of dollars with zero consequences, then get in on these projects, help create jobs, help move people, help give us a reason when we do get back to some degree of normality to be able to get from place A to B comfortably.
Oh, and as far as the federal budget, I expect that Chrystia Freeland will be playing the role of Oprah, and you get money, you get money, you get money, and distributing money left, right, and center, as Aaron was saying. And I think trying to appease every special interest, and where does it end? And not actually tackling some of the real issues. And healthcare is one of those issues. The provinces are footing most of the bill based on existing rules, and it needs to be looked at.
Thank God for Chrystia Freeland, who will have to save the day once again.